What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Nintendo Land, and we are once again diving back into Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door Remake to look at the differences between the original on the GameCube and obviously the new version on the Switch. Now this is episode 7 and we are on chapter 4 of the game, so if you guys want to see information on any of the past chapters, you can just go to the playlist where I have pretty much just put everything in there. So there's a lot of facts in there. I mean, well over like 400, 500 facts. So we're still going strong. There's still so many things, and once again, if you guys have any information or facts of your own from this chapter, or maybe anything that I missed in the past, or anything moving on to the future chapters, make sure you comment them down below. But thank you guys for tuning in. Stop what you're doing. If you want this to continue going strong, make sure you leave a like and subscribe and comment and share this video. Let people know about it. Get it out there. Thank you so much for tuning in. And let's dive into all the details that you missed from the original to the new version from Chapter 4 of Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. So before I dive into the Chapter 4 information, here's a couple of details that you guys told me that I missed last time. So with Yoshi in the remake, you can actually open doors and go through doors without having to hop off Yoshi. It will give you the option just to go through the door by just pressing the button while you're riding him. Now in the remake, you can actually interact with the door as you're waiting for a match, and once you do, the guard will actually come in to take you to the match a lot faster than having to wait around the room for him. There is different dialogue when you defeat Grubba at the end of chapter 3, where in the original he says, "No, how'd this happen? How could a perfect bod like mine lose to such a chub?" In the remake, he says, "No, how'd this happen? How could a perfect bod like mine lose to such a schlub?" So yeah, Grubba, no more fat shaming. In the original game, the title screen only showed the green Yoshi kid, where now in the remake, it will actually correspond to the color that you actually chose within the game. Also, all the characters and the hills in the background kind of wiggle and bounce now in the title screen. They added one brand new recipe just for the remake that wasn't available in the original, where you can actually combine hot sauce and a hot dog in order to get the hottest dog. What? Yeah, in the original it would just come out as a mistake, but now you can make a hottest dog. In the original title, when you died, your partner really had no reaction. They just kind of stood there. In the remake, they will actually freak out if Mario actually dies in battle. One thing you'll notice in the game is that the flowers in West Rogueport do change like the original, but they change in different ways, and they look slightly different than the original's flowers. There is a new sound effect for when Mario tries to go into the Twilight Town pipe and when it blocks him. You jump into a new chapter. In the original game, it would play the theme and then stop, but in the remake, it will play the theme and continue to play chimes and music as you sit and wait. Now let's jump into the world of Twilight Town. In the original, the pigs actually just looked like pigs in a cartoon world, where now they're more papery and they actually give the aesthetic of the game. One thing you'll notice is that in the original, when you go into the mayor's home, his little table in the back is moved by the shelf and there's now a lamp on it, and each home, including his, now has a light hanging from the ceiling. The sign for the inn is now kind of laying over at an angle. This has been said in the past chapters, but I wanted to kind of re-clarify again that in the original you couldn't smash or really do anything with the bushes, especially in this area where you actually have to come here and help Vivian later on in the story. But now you can actually smash the bushes instead of just searching through them. In the original, the fire flower sign for the item shop was just a regular fire flower. However, in the remake, it now takes the appearance to follow after everybody in Twilight Town, as it has a darker look with deep, creepy yellow eyes like all the Twilight Town villagers. The house on the far eastern side of the town now has a use, where originally there was nothing here, but in the remake is actually a quick travel pipe that you really can't access yet though until you unlock this area later on in the chapter. In the original game, you can't jump into the pumpkin patch or interact with it at all, where in the remake you can jump over there and walk right through it. In the original, you'll notice that the background is separated from two different planes, being a green one and a black one, showing you the different levels of depth of the trees in the background. Once you leave that first area, it goes to an all black background, maybe signifying that you're getting closer to that area. In the remake, both areas will give you the same looking background, with the green and the black behind it. In the original, the tree leaves were very thick, where it was hard to see past them, where it was actually hiding a whole question block, which a lot of people could miss if you weren't really looking for it. In the remake, the tree leaves are lifted up and they're not as thick, where it's easier to see that question block and everything through the trees, making it less hidden, which is a strange addition because it just makes it 10 times easier to find that thing and it's not even like a secret anymore. Once you reach the creepy steeple, in the original, the gate just had chains on the front, no lock. In the remake, there's now a giant gold padlock on the chains. In the original, when you drop down the well and enter the next room, all the buzzy beetles will try to attack you, where in the remake, they won't, only specific ones that are closer to Mario. When you first enter the creepy steeple, you'll notice a secret area that you get to roll up into a tube and enter, and it's more of a storeroom closet, but it's definitely a lot more organized in the remake, and in the remake you can even make your way back to the old organ and actually play it by hitting it with your hammer. You have the mini-boss against the Atomic Boo. It doesn't just play the event battle theme now, he actually has his own theme song. And if you were somebody that played Origami King, you'll realize that that theme is very similar to the themes we've gotten in that game. The same thing with the trees on the way to the steeple, but the thick grass when you're outside of the steeple on the sides, you'll notice was a lot thicker, more hidden when you had to sneak through the secret grass path by turning sideways, where in the remake it's a lot more obvious as you can see the giant part in the grass. When you hit the block that changes where the stairs move in the steeple, it does not change colors or goes inactive once you can't move the stairs anymore. It just lets you keep hitting the block, but nothing happens. Where in the remake, it'll actually turn to a gray color, not allowing you to interact with it until you move the stairs on the other end. In the original, when you go into the room with the stairs, there's no marks on the floor, but in the remake, you can see the marks and the positioning of where the stairs actually go in the 3 different spots. In the original, when you went up the final tower of the steeple, there were no windows or any type of light coming in, where in the remake, there are windows all the way up. In the original game, when you confront Doopliss at the top of the tower, he's just sitting and chilling in his chair, where in the remake, he's actually rocking in it, as it is a rocking chair, so I guess it makes sense. When you battled Doopliss, the background was actually flipped around. I wonder if this was done so to kind of have a play on when Mario gets kind of replaced by Doopliss when he gets copied or something, but in the remake, it's actually positioned in the way you actually see the room when you walk in. Doopliss now has a new animation for when he scans Mario, where it used to just be this blue bar that would go down over him. Now it's more of a ring, and there's more kind of digital square effects that pop up, almost showing an electronic side to his powers. In the original, you can jump inside Doopliss's bathtub and you kind of just stand on top of the water, if there's even any water in it, but in the remake, it's very clear that there's water and you can even splash around inside. In the original, Doopliss's TV just shines one solid color, and it doesn't change, flicker, or flash anything, where in the remake, it's actually more realistic, showing like shows either go through different scenes or flashes of different color, making it more lifelike. In the original, when you try to leave the tower, the game will not allow you to jump down to the bottom. There's just an invisible wall, so you have to walk all the way around the staircase again, where in the remake, you can't jump down there. And there's a lot of situations like this in the entirety of the game, where now you can jump into places that you normally couldn't, or jump over fences that you couldn't. There's a pretty cool difference, where in the original, when Mario is turned into his shadow form, he still made sounds and noises, but in the remake, he's completely mute, making it even more creepy that he's been turned into this abomination. When Vivian joins your team, she now gets her own theme song like the other partners, and her song kind of reminisces that of the Shadow Sirens theme. There's a new animation and sound when Vivian takes Mario and uses Veil in order to hide him. In the original, when you kept running into Doopliss, he would always make you guess his name, no matter what, even if you didn't know it. But in the remake, you actually have an option to escape and not guess his name, making this process a lot quicker. We already talked about the fast travel pipe now in Twilight Town in the remake, but the other end is actually in the creepy Steeple, where in the original, after speaking with the parrot, there's nothing in this hallway on the way out. You have to make your way all the way back to the beginning of Twilight Town in order to talk to Doopliss, say his name, and make your way all the way back to the Steeple as well, where in the remake, this is streamlined to be a lot simpler. Now, after talking to the parrot and you go into the next room with the long hallway, there is a giant block waiting for you. If you break the block, there is now a fast travel pipe. This time you don't have to make yet again another back and forth trip to get back to the Steeple in order to fight Doopliss the final time. Once you collect the letter P from the Steeple, you can now guess his name correctly, where in the original, obviously the UI is completely different than the remake, but the P was just a normal black letter, where in the remake, the P is now glowing red, pretty much indicating that, yeah, remember, you gotta use that letter. It's a new one that you got, which it's funny. I guess it's just a nice little visual addition. Here's a really cool fact that if you're actually wearing the W emblem, which gives Mario Wario's clothes, and Doopliss actually copies you, Doopliss will actually have the Wario clothes as well, where in the original, he would just always have the red and blue overalls. The same thing happens as well when you reach him later on in the Palace of Shadows at the very end of the game, and if you're wearing a Luigi outfit, Wario, or the Waluigi outfit, he will also be doing the same if he scans you. In the original game, you actually could not damage Doopliss and he could not damage you when you were doing the little battles of guessing his name, where in the remake, he can actually damage you, you still just can't damage him. And you can still block his attacks for 0, it'll actually pop up as 0 when you dodge it, but he'll do 1 damage if he does land an attack on you. You now have tons of new dialogue thanks to the newly added Battle Master Toad, where if you talk to him as Shadow Mario, he'll call you Nameless Frank and also have all of this to say. Things are a little bit different with the final battle with Doopliss, where in the original, when you first strike him, nothing will happen. But in the remake, he'll actually have a reaction where he's kind of shocked that Mario was able to hit him at all. And to end the chapter in the video, we don't have a lot of Peach facts for you this time around, but we do have some Bowser ones, where Bowser's clown car in the original still looked angry and happy at the same time, but in the remake underwater, it looks kind of sad because it's been defeated and destroyed and probably not working anymore. In the remake, there's hardly nothing in the background underneath the water. In fact, it's just lots of water, but in the remake, you can see more coral reefs and other giant rocks and stuff that's fleshing out the scene a lot better. And finally, there is a new creepy theme song that plays when you talk to Professor Frankly at the end of this chapter, when he starts talking about the demon queen that he finds that could be imprisoned behind the 1,000-year door. The music changes to a sinister new theme. To me, this really sounded like the Origami King Sniff City Hotel theme. That was over 39 brand new differences between the original and the remake of Paper Mario The 1,000-Year Door. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I have so much fun making these videos because it's really cool to see the game that I grew up with change over time. And the little changes that they made, whether they be good or bad, and pointing them out has been a blast. So if you guys want me to continue on to Chapter 5 and beyond to the end of the game, make sure you do your part by leaving a like, subscribing, commenting, and sharing the video. Make sure you comment any other facts that you think I may have missed, or facts coming up for Chapter 5, and you could be included in the next video. But thank you guys so much for tuning in, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.